Terrorism strikes New York City. 8 people are dead this morning, at least a dozen others wounded when a truck plowed through pedestrians on a bike path in Lower Manhattan yesterday. The driver has been identified as 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov, who came to the United States from Uzbekistan in 2010. He reportedly lives in New Jersey. He was working as an Uber driver, has been for the last 6 months. Officials say that he shouted out Allahu Akbar, which is God is great in Arabic, when he got out of the truck before he was shot by a police officer. He is now in custody at a local hospital in New York. Joining me right now is New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Governor, good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you, Maria.
What can you tell us, Governor, in terms of this individual? Was he radicalized? What do we know this morning?
We know, Maria, and again, the investigation is ongoing and it's relatively preliminary. But from all the evidence we have, he was the quote-unquote lone wolf model. We don't have any evidence that suggests this was part of a larger plan or there were future actions. Or there was a large concerted effort. In many ways, we're seeing the evolution of jihad tactics, right? We had the World Trade Center bombing in 1993 in New York, 25 years. At that time, it was more of a geographically located training regimen. And now, over the years, it's migrated to a global platform on the Internet. They have a very simple model, rent a car, rent a truck, and create mayhem and try to instill terror. And that's what this appears to be. There's no doubt that he was ISIS affiliated, related, or had an affection for ISIS. But it was, all evidence points to that lone wolf model.
Yeah, I mean, I've been avoiding lone wolf because to me, lone wolf sort of suggests that it's just this one guy who has nothing to do with ISIS and has sort of on his own. But in fact, you know, he left a note pledging allegiance to ISIS. So I guess, how was he radicalized? Do we know how this happened? Was it the Internet? What did he do in terms of getting in ISIS's sort of, you know, under the umbrella to write that note that he pledges allegiance to them?
Yeah, we're going through the social media now, but there has been no evidence thus far of group associations. I understand your feeling about the expression lone wolf. I think it's used in juxtaposition to what the old model was. The old model was you were trained in a boot camp in the Middle East, and then you got on a plane and you came to the United States. And there was a group training affiliation. The evolution of the model, in my mind, is more of an Internet-based, simpler paradigm where any depraved coward who can get on the Internet can look up a plan that says rent a car and drive into a crowd. And this incident tracks that model. Now, they're harder to police. They're harder to stop. We have the best security, I believe, on the globe. But they're harder to anticipate and they're harder to get intelligence on because they're not associating. And that's the challenge of the new evolution. But that's what's going on in Germany. That's what happened in Ohio. That's what we're seeing more and more of. That's the new police challenge for us.
He was in this country on a diversity visa that he arrived here in 2010. What do you want to see in terms of this diversity visa? Is that one of the issues? Because this new way of doing things, getting in a truck and plowing into a crowd of people, which, of course, is what ISIS wrote in their magazine a year ago, telling people to do this. I mean, is there any way to stop that? Or do you go to the visa program to take a look at, you know, ensuring that some maniac doesn't get access to the U.S. the way this guy did back in 2010 because of that diversity visa?
Well, I think, Maria, first, on the diversity visa, that was a bipartisan program. It was signed by a Republican president. And if he was radicalized here, you wouldn't have caught that during the visa process anyway. I think we do have to be smart and intelligent about who we let into the country. There's no doubt about that. I think we have to be even smarter with our policing. We have to evolve along with them and gathering intelligence. But at the end of the day, the truth is also this. New York is a target. We have a Statue of Liberty in our harbor who holds a torch that says freedom and democracy, and that is repugnant to a whole group of people who want to knock that torch down. So they are going to come, I have no doubt. From 1993 World Trade Center, 9/11, they are going to come, and we will stop most of them.
Right.
But ultimately, the point is you can't let them win. They win when they disrupt. They win when they instill terror. They killed 8 people, and we cried about it. But that's not their intent. They didn't want to kill 8 people. They wanted to disrupt New York, and they didn't. And we didn't let them. I spent all yesterday afternoon inviting people to the Halloween parade.
Right.
I marched in the Halloween parade, not because I had a great costume, Maria, but because the point was we're not letting them disrupt us. And you had families and children. You would not have known at that parade that anything happened in the afternoon.
Yeah, no, I was happy to see that you still marched.
And that is ultimate success.
Yeah, and give us a sense of what was going on there. I mean, we got the New York City Marathon scheduled for this Sunday. What kind of security measures are you putting in place statewide to hopefully prevent this kind of an attack? Should we be worried going into the Marathon Sunday?
No, we shouldn't be worried because worry, anxiety, now they win. They instilled anxiety, and that's a form of terror. We do need to stay ever vigilant on the policing. We're getting more sophisticated. We're focusing on a statewide level on areas of concentration of people. Airports, subways. Pennsylvania Station is an area from a security point of view that I am very focused on. Pennsylvania Station, called Penn Station, is one of the most heavily traveled hubs in the hemisphere. You have 600,000 people going through Penn Station. So I'm focusing on Penn Station, the airports. For the marathon, I spoke to the Homeland Security Secretary last night. We'll have federal forces, FBI forces, National Guard, NYPD, barriers, every precaution that can be taken will be taken. But let's be honest, you can never 100% police against these rental car, truck, driving into a crowd situations. But we'll do everything that we can.